Good morning and welcome to another installment of the Smart Business Series with the North Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, brought to you by Overnight Success Studios. Before we get started with the man of the hour, I'm going to bring up Tim and Rachel from Dex Imaging. They're going to tell us what they do and how they do it.
Thank you so much for coming out today, and thank you. It's been a pleasure to sponsor this event. It is a smart series, smart business series. So basically, I brought the smart person of our company along with us. Rachel's going to talk a little bit. We do copiers and printers. Dex Imaging is primarily known for that, but Rachel's going to talk a little bit about what her specialty is and what other avenues that Dex is going down. So. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. And here's Rachel.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you all for allowing us this awesome opportunity to sponsor the Smart Series. We are so excited to hear from our speaker today, so I promise that I will keep this very brief. Dex is a privately held company based right here in Tampa Bay. We have many lines of products that we provide for our customers, including, as Tim said, copiers, managed print services, and document management software. But we think that a business is much more than just the products that they provide. And so it's important to us that we also embrace our core values and our business mission and processes. So some of the unique things that we do is we donate 30% of our profits to nonprofits and education in the local communities that we serve. And we donate the next 30% of our profits back to our non-commissioned employees in the form of profit-sharing checks. This makes sure that those families, when they go out on summer break, can afford vacations, putting their kids through camps, make sure that when school goes back into session, they have school supplies for their children, and the bulk of that profit sharing happens right before the holidays so that they can enjoy quality family time and gifts with their kids. In addition to that, we, like all good businesses, continue to innovate all the time and look for better ways that we can serve our customers. I represent a unique division at Dex that focuses on ways that businesses can get more productivity out of a lean staff. So why are we doing this? Unemployment is at an all-time low. In the state of Florida, it's about 3.5%. Back in April for Hillsborough County, it was 2.8%. Massive talent shortages. If any of you are in hiring, you know how hard it is to find good quality talent. So identifying this, we thought, how can we make people more productive at work? How can we give people back labor that is currently going to rote administrative tasks that are not growing the business? Well, one of the easiest ways to do that is to automate some of those processes. So companies like IBM and PricewaterhouseCoopers have been doing this forever, but they don't do it on a scale that your SMB businesses could embrace and really leverage in a practical way. So we've scaled those processes down, and we offer business process outsourcing for data capture and data entry. That can look like automating the entry of medical records into your EMR using a combination of HIPAA-compliant, fully trained, PHI-trained employees in a sterile setting to process those medical records, and pairing that output with robotic intelligence that then feeds those records and that data back into your system. That could look like automating your accounts payable system. This is a common problem. We have our accounting team. They're processing invoices as we grow, as we acquire new locations, more and more vendors, more and more invoices. How do we get those into our AP software in a meaningful, efficient, accurate way? We can automate that. We use that BPO system to automate the capture of the data in a high degree of accuracy, and then we use robotic intelligence to put that back into accounting software. Could be any kind of software. What that means for your business is that with the same number of staff that you have today, you can double the productivity. You can free people up who have been tied up in those rote data entry processes that are necessary, but they don't produce growth, they don't add revenue, they don't serve your customer base. And we can free those people up to do the things that they've been skilled to do, that they're trained to do, that will grow your business in a more meaningful way, meanwhile saving you the challenge of finding a talented, quality employee in a market with less than 2.8% unemployed. Having said that, if you have any questions or you would like to get in touch with us, you can always call the DEX main line and ask for Tim Fredericks or Rachel Knipe. We'd be happy to connect with you. I'll also have cards and contact information available for you at the end. Thank you very much.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, so I'm about to bring up the man of the hour, Mr. Emmett Emery, Sr., who is a motivational speaker, a workshop facilitator, a seminar facilitator, webinar trainer, and a keynote speaker. Dr. Emery was born in Chicago, Illinois, one of my favorite cities next to my own hometown of Miami. He served 14 years in the United States Navy. Thank you for your service, sir. Also, he is married to Angela Emery, and both of them share 8 kids and 16 grandkids. So a lot of work on your hands there. Now, Dr. Emery is the founder, president, and CEO of Emery Consulting Firm, LLC. Emery Consulting Firm will bring a new life to your organization by acting as a catalyst for change. Also, the teaching and training that they provide will save you thousands of dollars a week towards your labor hours. So listen closely, and I'm going to bring up the man of the hour, Mr. Emmett Emery, Sr.
Thank you.
All right.
Leaders, decision-making, family and friends. Leaders is perceived to be an individual who motivates, who teaches, who trains, who elevates, who builds. A decision maker is connected to that leader because decisions that he make what he does as far as building, training, and motivating successful. I integrated families and friends because whatever that leader does that affects decision making and what they're doing affects their family and friend. My name is Dr. Emmett Emery Sr. I'm the CEO, founder, and president of Emery Consulting Firm. I had to put the LLC on the end of that. Emery Consulting Firm goes in to organizations and we assess the leaders. We assess the leaders and we connect decision making that they make with their leadership skills, and we also integrate it with families and friends. Because one thing we found out is that when you involve leaders, decision making, it not only stays in the workplace, but it also connects to the home as well. So we go in and we do the assessment, and through the assessment, we give our evaluation of what should be done. Sometimes we go in, and they don't not only looking for evaluation, they're looking for us to go in and actually do a training and development series for a period of time. So you sign on to a 6 months to a 12-month contract. What is a leader? Emery Consulting Firm, when we go in, we consider a leader to be an individual who within the chain of command manages individuals. So we don't just perceive the person as a CEO or the executive director to be the leader. We perceive a department manager to be a leader because they have people underneath them. A middle manager to be a leader because they have people underneath them. So as long as you're leading, you have a value point with connection with the employees. So we go in and we do the root cause analysis, and we evaluate, and we bring data and history from previous concerns through associates engagement, and we also talk to the leaders as well as employees. And we come forward with assessment, and then we'll create a plan. I said right now we only got like 2 or 3 employees that does a lot of this assessment, because prior to that, I worked 16 years for Walmart. And by working for Walmart, I was doing both. So in the process of doing that, I didn't need to elevate the way I'm elevating now. And since I stepped away from Walmart and I made this a priority, we really engaging more in the community and with the other businesses. We not only do business in Florida, we do business throughout the other areas. Decision making. Decision making is one of the critical assets that we have as leaders. Your decisions are going to be positive, or your decisions are going to be negative. They're going to have an impact on the workplace, and they have an impact on your home. They have an impact on your character, and it has an impact on your identity. And for some of us, our character is who we are. Our identity is who we are. So Emery Consulting Firm will come in, and we'll take that leader, and we'll assess not only their leadership skills, but we'll assess the decisions that they've made. How did they make this decision? What was the decision based upon? What were the results of the decision made? How many people did it impact? Did it impact leadership? Did it impact the social below them? Did it impact their personal life, families and friends? Leader at work. Now, through my research, I've done 18 years of research in the field of leadership and decision making. Why I'm bringing this forward now? Because some of you might be thinking, what makes him a subject matter expert in the field of leadership, decision making, and family and friends to present this information to us? I've done 18 years of research in the field of leadership and decision making. My research has been published in journals. I also have done research in the field of spiritual leadership. I pastored 2 churches in the city of Chicago, small congregations, but I was able to see different things within those congregations and see people do different things of what they was preaching, or the background, or the more values that they supposed to had attached to that spirituality. So through my research, also that's published in a journal. And from the research in leadership decision making, I did an offspring of a book. So I have a book published that connects to that research. Also, with spiritual leadership, have a book published that connects to that research, which I'll bring it up at the end of the presentation because I have a lot of that presented in the back. Through my research, I came up with 2 types of leader. You have a I leader and a we leader. An I leader in the workplace, and individuals that presume to take responsibility for everything regarding to success. Not failure, success. They will say, I created the program. I was the one that got team building up. I was the one that got the sales up. I was the one that got customers in. More like an autocratic leader. Do not share information, but present information to leadership above them for promotion and for the will to be self-patted, as I call it, if that's a word. So they want to be patted on the back. They want to be lifted up. They want to be encouraged. They can't go forward without this sort of accomplishment. So I call them I leaders. Then I separated and had a we leader. We leader is one that engaged themselves, more of a servant leader. As it was mentioned, I served 14 years in the United States Navy. I was talking to Tim earlier, and I told him, he asked me, he said, you serve in the military? I said, yes. He said, what's branch? I said, there's only one branch. And he said, oh, the Navy. I said, oh. He said, yes, because I serve in the branch. So you got the individual, I know he served in the Navy because it's all Navy veterans that say there's only one branch of service. But through that serving, I developed a servant leadership skill. We talked about boot camp, Tim and I, but I didn't tell him that I was a drill sergeant for 3.5 years in boot camp. And being a drill sergeant, you have to be, you get the false characterization that you're yelling at people, you're violently treating people, you have no self-regard at all to the people's values or norms, and you treat them like they're animals, which is, of course, a misconception. Isn't that true, Tim? You servants to the individual. Why? Because they're in a change of environment. They're coming from a civilian setting where they have freedom to roam, to say, to do anything they so want to, and to a military setting where everyone is under the guidance direction of what they call UCMJ, Uniform Code of Military Justice. That means no matter who's in the military, what branch of service it is, you fall up under Uniform Code of Military Justice. That means you will be subject to what disciplinary action that comes with you and what you do under that. So you all train the same way. You're trained to support the next person next to you. You're trained to take directions and do not reply back. You train to be disciplined and obedient, stand on the drill or stand on the watch for 8 hours and do not move. So you train those in those areas. So you have that we mentality. You're more of a democratic leader. So you're looking to build teams. You're looking to have cohesiveness. You're looking to have togetherness. You're looking for unity. So you go out there sometime and you work with that individual. Let them know that you're there for support or if they need anything. You go out there and you communicate with associates. You walk around and say how you're doing and do you need any help and things of that nature. You have gatherings, picnics and company holiday activities. You have other activities that engage associates and employees, such as raffles and things of that nature. So that's a we leader. Now, leaders with family and friends. How did that we leader and that I leader connect to family and friends? Well, if you're an I leader at work, it's all I. Sometimes you take that I leadership home with friends and family. Let's be partners. Let's do this. Let's do that together. No, I want to do this. No, let's play this bill. No, I want to pay this bill. No, let's take the kids here. No, I want to take the kids here. No, let's clean out the garage or let's cook or let's watch a movie. It'd be what I want to do. And if you don't do what that person wants you to do, they become bitter. They become upset, receptive, because they're used to that sort of feedback from work. So what Emery Consulting Firm do, Emery Consulting Firm come in and we identify the facts. Because a lot of individuals who's I leaders don't know that they take it at home. They think that it's the other person. And if you don't have a spouse and kids, you still have friends that you communicate with if you're single. So you're still communicating with someone outside of the job. So a lot of times they didn't even know that they had that sort of characteristic. So in communicating with them and identifying the issues, I was able to identify that they had that I leadership. And by identifying that, they was able to go beyond work and then communicate with individuals beyond work, family and friends, and realize that they had that issue. And sometimes your biggest supporter, your biggest help is not coming from work, it's coming from home. So if you have a problem at work and you're the I leader, I can't penetrate through my employees to get something done because I want it done a certain way and they're doing it another way. Well, if you taking this home and they're communicating with you at home and you want to get things done your way at home and then you have to humble yourself at home, it allows you to go back and humble yourself at work. Then it allows you to have success at work. That we individual will be more receptive at home. That we individual go cut the neighbor's yard before they cut their yard. That we individual go and be a coach on a baseball team, a basketball team, a soccer team. That we individual will allow well, this happened to me. Allow your daughter to put makeup on your face in front of your manly friends. So that we individual doesn't care. That we individual want to support. That we individual want to encourage. That we individual want to build up. So if you're a we individual at work and you're doing this team building and you're receptive and you communicate in that fashion, you're going to do it at home. And usually that we individuals are the ones that's successful in life. You set these visions and you set these goals and objectives to reach this vision, but as an I leader, you really get stagnant because no vision, goals, or objective is going to be reached or succeed without help from someone else. You're not going to be able to do it on your own. So the why I individuals don't understand why they still at a certain level. You have some I individuals that convert over to we, and the ones convert to we end up being successful. Decision making at work. What is decision making based upon? Is decision making based upon policies? Is decision making based upon procedures of the company? Is decision making based upon more values? Is your decision making based upon what everyone else think without your input? The I leader decision making process is based upon I. They're not looking for feedback on your decision. They're not asking you, what do you think? How you feel? What do you think the outcome is going to be? Are you going to join me in this quest for vision of the company? I understand what policy procedures say, but I think I can do it better. I think my decisions will have a more of an impact than the people who work above us making decisions are saying. And they either cause the company to have less sales. It may cause retention to be very low. They may cause employees to leave. But I doesn't see it. Oh, there was an issue in the first place. They didn't want to follow policy procedures. Oh, that was their problem. They don't want to follow what I say. I know more than them. I've been in this position for 10 years, 12 years. Have you heard something like that before? I have seniority in here. These young guys coming in trying to tell me what to do. Well, time changes. I heard the individual talk prior to me getting on the stage about automation. I remember when I first went into the distribution field and warehouse operations, everything was done manually. From bringing things off the truck, to receiving, to stocking, to conveyors before the conveyors even came out. I was in the distribution field in the military. We had we called trains. So Tim probably saw that when he was on, he said, that's why he said never been to ship. Poor guy. You be on board ship and you get in a line called a train. Some people call them chains, we call them trains. And you get the merchandise and you pass it on. Now they have robots through automation. All right, robotic. When I left Walmart, they had robots loading the truck. They had robots offloading the truck. They have robots controlling the conveyor belts. They had robots telling you to sit, telling you when to stand, telling you when to lay. No, I'm just sorry. No, don't have that. But it seems like they're going to that area with robots. It's robotic now. FedEx has a robot that they're beginning to release in 3 or 4 months that deliver packages door to door. I wonder how they're going to work with the doorknob, the doorbell thing that you have that see the crooks coming up. Because they can stop the robot before you can get to the door. So who they ask about these decisions? Not the consumer, but the we individual making decisions. So let's have a meeting. This is what came down the pipeline, chain of command. What you guys think? Any inputs? Any suggestions? And you have someone sitting next to you writing down the suggestions. In that meeting, you're reading back the suggestions. Then a week or two later, you're implementing 1 or 2 of those suggestions. Now you got involvement. Now you got a company that's going to sell. Why? Because you got total involvement. Production to go up. Attendance to go up. The biggest problem that we have right now, they say there's a lot of jobs out there, but this society, generation, has the opportunity to move from job to job to job because there's so many. When I started working, you prayed for a job, you got that job, you stayed there 19, 20, 21, 30 years. But they have the opportunity to do that now. So you have to balance and alter your decision making. I mentioned automation. Your decision in the automation institution versus decision making in clerical is different. It's going to be different. So decision making in the workplace, Emery consulting firm, we'll go in and we'll look. And we even make decisions. And then we'll allow you to make decisions if you're going to go with it or not. We do an outline, we draft it up, and we deliver it. Decision-making, family and friends. Thought that was kind of cute. Put friends and then you got, because if you remember that show, they had a whole lot of different things going on with friends. They was friends, and then it was families, and it was lovers, and then it was friends, and it was families, and like revolving, but it stayed on for a while, and it was a good show. So, decision-making involving families and friends. How do we connect all of that together with the leadership, the decision-making, and the family and friends through Emery Consulting Firm? We rolled it in from reverse. In other words, we'll make sure you're comfortable at home. Make sure you do activities. Make sure you communicate with your kids. Make sure you communicate with spouse. Make sure you communicate with friends. Make you a goal, put goals and objectives for the future vision that you want to have within your community. Do you want to build it up? What you want to do? It's a new community, old community. Get involved outside of work. Get involved in that community. Get involved with the Chambers of Commerce. I had to throw that one in there. So get involved. Connect. When you connect, you have success. Because you know that if you connect to 5 people, at least 2 are going to have your back. So if you go into a situation, for example, recent activity that happened that's on the news now was baseball great Dave Ortiz was shot in the back in his hometown. Because of the connection that he had, the success that he had with his former team, the Boston Red Sox, they immediately got a plane, individuals together, and said, we're going to get him. For his own hometown, it's for his own hometown, country. We don't care what the government says over there. We don't care what the people say over there. He's family. Because of the connection that he made. In the community, he not only played ball, he involved the community, with the families, with the kids, and with the team, the organization. They went and got him. And they flew him back to Boston. So what that says to David Ortiz, everything I did, or everything I was engaged in, everyone I connected to, was for naught. Because in the end, they had my back. The medical treatment that I probably would not have gotten in the Dominican Republic, if they never checked to see if they needed to go outside the Dominican Republic, he didn't have to worry about it. Because United States, Boston organization flew him in, paying for medical treatment, everything else. If you connect outside of work prior to, then that'll help you as you move up. So we start from the bottom with the family, then we move up. We'll look at decision making. We'll say, okay, the decision making that you made to be successful in your family and friends is going to offspring you to the decision making that you'll make as a leader. How joyful and beautiful it is to have someone, even yourself, to leave work less stressful. You can be stressful at work, but as soon as you walk out that door, the stress is gone because you know the way you lead and manage at work is going to bounce off at home. So if you're leading at work in a we matter and team building and partnership, then you know once you leave work, you had a stressful day, hard day, just want to wind down, glass of wine, a hot bath, play with the kids, go to a bar, just relax with friends, watch a ball game, then you know you can go do that. So you leave those doors and you go into your families and friends and you go into open arms. Now you're really feeling relaxed and released. You're not even thinking about work. Because I got news for everyone here. Work always going to be there. Whether you take care of it or someone else take care of it. It's always going to be there. But if you're used to bonding, communicating as a we individual, you're also going to delegate. Because now you feel confident, you have the courage to allow someone else to get it done, knowing they're going to get it done correctly because they have your back. So Emery's consulting firm connect all three of them together. And as we connect up to leadership, and leadership becomes successful, leaders become successful, and leaders pass it up to leadership, become a boomerang effect. What goes up higher, what goes up higher, what comes back. And in the end, you know who gets the positive effect from all that? The employees, the ones who are doing the work. And that's what it's all about with leaders. Leaders is to train, motivate, build up. But it's not a position that you can just step into. The problem that we have in a lot of organizations involving leaders is that we put them in a leadership position when they're followers. That person worked well together. That person get the 30-minute job done in 15 minutes. That person will get 150 cases per hour done in an hour. And so we take them based upon their work ethics, based on their success in their work ethic as an individual, and then we put them in a leader position. And now you got a leader who can't go down and work individually by themselves with their hands, still an I person. So now they're leading. So the only thing they know how to lead is I. But if you got that leader, that we person, you better believe that we leader was involved in sports, was involved in group activities, was involved in social gatherings in elementary school up. Probably had 4 or 5 friends, probably had little parties, probably had little gatherings, probably was on the soccer team, probably was on the baseball, even if they didn't like it. If you introduced them to it, they still remember it because they had interaction with others. So now they know to work with others versus the I who probably just stayed alone, read books, didn't want interaction. Do them individuals make bad leaders? No. But you don't thrust them into a leadership role without working with them first. You set them up for success. You don't set them up for failures. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the presentation. I just wanted to show that the leadership in the work environment that I have accumulated over 31 years filters down to the home environment. This is my wife, by the way, and she's sitting right there. So a happy wife is a happy me. I reversed it. I know a happy me, a happy wife. So once again, thank you. Any questions? I welcome questions.
So I'm sure you've come across people who don't want to be a leader, that don't want to get out of the I and become a we and be a leader. How do you motivate them to see their leadership qualities or just leave them there? Do you just leave them there?
Usually those individuals that I've come across through research, interaction, are the individuals that's angry and bitter and upset. They know they can get the job done, but they feel they haven't been trained to get it done, or they feel that no one wants to help or support them, that everyone hates to dislike them. They don't understand their interaction from above them because they don't communicate with them face-to-face. They're used to face-to-face communication. And they don't understand how to communicate with individuals below them. So I will walk them through the process. I will first start, like I said, at the bottom. I ask them about the communication at home. I said, I don't mean to pry or to be personal, but this could assist you. And the individuals usually have a struggle at home. So the struggle at home comes into the struggle environment, the work environment. So when the individual say, okay, I'm going to communicate at home, families and friends, and try to get on a common ground with them, then that loosens them up. They listen to their spirits. They give them a little bit of sense of belonging. Then they come into work, and I tell them, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to walk the facilities. As we walk the facility, Walmart had what they call a 10-foot rule. Individual customer within 10 feet of you, you will greet them. Hi, how you doing? Do you need anything? Can I help you with anything? So I would take them out. I took that 10-foot rule, and I would tell them, hey, you go out here and you communicate. Because usually that individual, that I individual, never go out and communicate. They don't socialize with the employees. They don't go out and see what's going on within the workplace. So I take the individual out, and they get used to communicating. Just talk. Hi, how you doing? How's your day? I said, sometimes you just walk and just listen. And then if employees feel comfortable with you, you're out there, you come out there in numerous amount of time, then they're going to start saying, hey, did you see the ball game? My daughter had lost her first tooth. I got a child that's walking. Well, I feel good about this. And now you're connecting with them. So that's another way. And then from there, it's not a one-step process is what I'm trying to say. It usually takes, when I have to deal with an eye person, it's going to take anywhere between 6 weeks or longer. It takes me a while to build a habit. Why? Because they have them roadblocks in between. It never happens overnight because usually when that individual is trying to convert to a we, they have to connect to the people who's connected with them. And the people who connect with them have to be able to come on to connect with that individual because that we person has pushed people away for so long and has caused people not to want to have trust in them for so long that they have to build that up. So those individuals, it takes a while. I haven't had that many, but it takes a while. The biggest problem I had is getting that individual to communicate with the ones above them. And more of a, not I did this, I did that, looking for reassurance, looking for recognition, looking for a pat on the back sort of thing. Just to connect with them and say, hey, this is what my guys did. This is what we're doing. So, you're welcome.
A great talk, by the way. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just a quick question for you. I wanted to find out what size companies do you typically work with? Small, large? What's your preference?
My preference is people. So the size of the company doesn't matter. I've been in a distribution center that had 100 million square feet, over 2,000 employees, 32 indirect managers, and 4 direct managers that I had to communicate with. I've been in organizations that only had 5 or 6 people. So it all depends on the severity of the issue and how much interaction I need to have on a one-on-one basis. So if I went into a large organization, whereas I have pushback from senior leadership. And usually when I have pushback from senior leadership, I'll just travel down and I communicate with the employees. And once I communicate with the employees and put them on track, then the manager above them sees what success they're having within their particular division or area based upon what the employees are doing. Numbers go up, but then they come on board. Then people above them see the results, then they come on board, and above them see the results, come on board. It's tougher with a large organization because you got so many terrorists you got to touch, so many people you got to touch. Whereas with a small organization, I get hands-on. But I just love being with people. Maybe it's that servant leadership. Because as I mentioned, boot camp, I push, they call them push when you do the divisions through 13 divisions. Each division was 94 recruits for 9 to 12 weeks. And my first 3 divisions was all male. And the last remaining divisions was co-ed, because you can't catch any, you couldn't catch a drill sergeant that can do both male and females. And then I was able to communicate with male and females, have success, and allow them to stay, you stay male, you stay female, no interaction at different levels, and have success. So I ended up pushing through those divisions as a whole. So to answer your question, no, it doesn't matter the size. Come on, questions. Good.
I just wanted to know, what do you think are the most important qualities that a leader should have or work on to be a good leader?
Communication. Because I'm a servant leader, and I believe in the communication part, because communication helps you see empathy, have emotions, and you feel emotions for your associates. For example, if a employee, I was in a situation where I saw a leader, employee came in and had death in their family, and they wanted to get away for a week, and the leader said, no, we're going to a busy season and production will drop, you can't go. Whereas you should have had someone else step up, or the leader should have increased their hours. So that communication right there with that associate, how do you think that turned out? Wasn't good. Production dropped, motivation dropped, and then who sees that? The other employees. So how you think that workforce environment went? Downhill, sales went down, all because of that communication technique that was used by the leader. Then you have lack of communication. Then you have too much communication. Too much communication becomes micromanaging. And then you also lose people that way. So communication, they can monitor their style of communication, then until it even kill, then they'll be successful.
This could have to do with leadership or not, but what piece of advice were you given at any point in your career that you would give to someone else who's in their early 20s pursuing their career currently?
The most direct, condescending, successful statement or information I've ever given happened to me my first tour of duty in the military, when I had the captain told me, he said, if you just shut the hell up and listen, you will learn a lot. He said, if you close your mind and you open your mouth, you don't know what I'm saying, and you're not going to see the big picture, or you're not going to see what's going on around you, and the enemy will be on you before you know it. And it took me a while to get that, because I thought that it was a personal attack up on me. I was like, ain't no enemy gonna come up when we out in the middle of the ocean. The only thing you're gonna see is a shark or a whale. So my mind frame was totally off kill from what he was trying to tell me. Then after a while, you've been out there for 30 to 60 days with no land, you have a lot of time to think when the sun goes down and when the sun comes up. So that's the bit of information I carry with me. My kids won't take it. They said, no, I'm gonna use another method. So thank you for that question. Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, what I'm selling in the back of the room, I mentioned the journals, research journal. I have the research printed out on the table in the back. Just take one. The leadership decision making in corporate is printed in the Journal of Business and Economic Policy, and the spiritual leadership is printed in the International Journal of Humanity and Social Science. Now, the reason I went to spiritual leadership, because as a pastor, I saw a lot of things that was said that was negative to the congregation. And then I saw a lot of things that the so-called spiritual or Christian individual would do in the workplace that contradict what their belief was inside the church. So I decided, okay, they need to understand how to lead in the workplace to be successful, because you still can lead in the workplace with your spirituality, and you can have a great impact, because this country was built upon religion. And even when the individual come inside the country, they still have a spiritual background. And for being in the Navy, every country we went in, come to think of, has some sort of a spiritual connection to the society of that country. And from the spiritual leadership, I also wrote the book that connects to that research. And that's for sale in the back. You Better Stand Your Watch is a series that I started. I started You Better Stand Your Watch series based upon the book of Ezekiel, when the Lord told Ezekiel to stand his watch over the people of Israel. And he had to watch over the wall and make sure, protect, and cover them. So I started that series saying, okay, you better stand your watch. So whenever you go into spiritual leadership into the workplace, stand your watch. Don't fall away from your morals and values and beliefs. Stand up, stand firm. Don't submit. So it's called A Call to Being a Spiritual Leader in the Workplace. Understand Your Watch series, and that'll be for sale in the back. And then you have a Stand Your Watch series, and this is leadership making sound decisions involving ethical and unethical behaviors in the workplace. I know I didn't talk about that today. That's a different topic. I'll get into that too, because we have a lot of situations with the bigger companies that I go into that have issues with ethical and unethical behavior, because they would take an ethical situation and turn it unethical. And that's where the problem starts. So that book could be in the back for purchase as well. In addition, I have bookmarkers that you can just take. Just take it, and it's in the back. Just take it and just carry it with you. That way everyone else can see what's going on with the books. Once again, I thank you, and I appreciate you.
You know, Dr. Emery, thank you for coming in and sharing that tidbit of information. A lot of people could benefit from it. Me being in the real estate field, you know, building teams and trying to make a brand for myself, a lot of what you said really touches on that. And a lot of people think that real estate is an I business, and it's really a we business, because you can't have customers without having relationships with your community, with everything else. And actually, I learned that from Hope, which is why I joined the chamber, to be able to have connections with people that are doing business and, you know, just to understand my community, you know, and I've gotten a lot of information. So thank you for that.
One thing you spoke, thanks for speaking of the Navy. It is the #1 branch. But you talk about the teamwork and stuff, and you know, Rachel and I work together as a team to try to come to the same resolution, obviously, of selling a great service and benefit to our clients. You know, one thing you talked about also was you know, the management. You know, Rachel touched on it a little bit. Dex Imaging, we're probably one of the fewest companies still that offer employee profit sharing. Thank you. Yeah, employee profit sharing. So, you know, that's one way of showing the people that you're invested in them, and that you're you know. So I can't say enough about our management, and you know, and I think you'll agree that the way that we run the company, the way the company is run, is all inclusive. So that's great news. But thank you. It was all very, very insightful information, and we really appreciate it.
But I just want to say I've done it both ways. I've done the I, and I've done the we, and servant leadership wins so much more than the I. So just, you know, heads up on that one. And that was an awesome presentation, and it just brought back a lot of memories, especially when I was by myself, because my whole entire staff quit, like every single person. And it's very difficult to run a company without any employees. Anyway, so thank you.